Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Excuse my coughing. Yes, I'm still recovering. Sisters and brothers, we're going to talk about birth of a nation. Very powerful subject, but that's what we're in the process of right now. But we need to understand the birth process. Because it's mathematics. We see the same processes like the birth process, the creation process. I mean, all these processes are mathematical and they apply in different ways. I mean, you see the same process applied in another circumstance, right? But it's the same mathematics behind it. We see in the reproduction process, we see there's a seed, there's an egg, there's a womb, there's that period, gestation period, right? In the womb. It's different for all different species, but for us, it's approximately 9 months. Then the child comes forward. Let's look at that womb part. See, when the womb, the child is growing. But the reason why it's in the womb, it's protected and excluded from, protected and excluded from everything. Because the egg, the sperm and egg, I mean, it's developing, right? But, and as I said, we all get the same amount of energy. But what happens is that you want it to focus 100% on developing and to forming itself. You want to 100%. That's why you put in the womb a locker room there. It can't do anything else. See? All this energy, because we're talking about energy being transferred from one form to another. So what's happening? That sperm and egg, right? It's transforming energy, right? It's taking and forming its body. It's forming its body. And you want to focus 100% on doing that. That's why it's in the womb, so it can't do anything else. Anything else. See? So remember I said the same idea is applied to different circumstances. Same thing in your life. If you apply all your energy in one particular thing, that's what you end the result going to be, because you have energy, and then you, based on what you do with that energy, is your result. So you actually every day you're taking and you transform energy to one form or to another, and then you get the result of that. So in other words, if you work on a job, you transforming energy to doing whatever your boss tells you to do. That's the way. That's the transformation you're making. At the end of each year, and at the end, you get the result of that, a paycheck or whatever. Same idea. So you want that new life to focus totally on forming itself. And what happens is when it interrupted, then the new life is deformed. It's deformed if that process is interrupted. It's deformed. See? Or it may come forth stillborn. See, Elijah Muhammad applied that process in building his Levite nation. So he made his people focus 100% on building a nation, 100%. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You had no time for anything else. I was there. 100% on building a nation. So he had you in the womb. You, you focused 100% on developing a nation, which it was developing, healthy and strong. See? Because he made you focus 100%. He kept you in the womb. This umbrella is very annoying. It doesn't sound like I'm recovering, does it? So he kept you in that womb. You can focus on anything else. If you was a nation of Islam, you cannot focus on anything else. He kept you in the womb. So, like in my case, I had no contact with the outside world. I lived in nations, complex buildings. I was a foreman of Muhammad Street newspaper. I shopped at U.S. supermarket, a nation supermarket. I shopped at bought clothes at their clothing store. I financed my car through the nation's bank, so forth and so on. So I had no contact with the outside world that I'm aware of. That's the way he did it. He formed a nation and grew and got strong. He kept me in the womb. But then when it's time to come forth, he departed, and along come Mr. Farrakhan. He aborted it. And then whilst they aborted it, they aborted that nation. That's a fact. They could blame the FBI and everybody else. They aborted it. A beautiful nation. But the message was not lost. He used a messenger. His message was not lost. Because black folks before prior to that time was incapable of building a nation. They was incapable of doing anything but being clowns and minstrels and fools and pimps and gangsters. That's all they was capable of doing according to the United States of America, according to Hollywood. And so he scared the hell out of them. I'm scared the hell out of them. That was just many of the things. He scared the hell out of everybody declaring that we was the true seed of Abraham. So we saw the impact. See, Elijah Muhammad had a world impact. He stood toe to toe with the beast here in America, but he had a world impact because Israel is there because of Elijah Muhammad. He declared that we was the true seed of Abraham. They had to develop a counter narrative, so they set up false Israel over there. People that was burned up the day before, the next day they was kissing their ass. He said, but Nate, that shouldn't have happened because we was not supposed to be capable of governing ourselves. We're savage people. There's many other things he did impacted the world. Because he was a sign. See, Elijah Muhammad was a sign of what was to come after him, of Suleiman. And that message was not lost. See? And these were Levites. That message was not lost. They could do that. Elijah Muhammad was no, according to this world, no scholar, no PhD, no engineer, no architect. He was just a third grade person who was, according to the saying, he was a drunkard and he never do well and growing up and so forth, so on. Yet he was able to do that. Birth of a nation, the Levite nation. The message was not lost. It shook, it shook America and it shook the world because Elijah Muhammad was known worldwide. See, they say, oh, they mocked Farrakhan and they called him. They never did to Elijah Muhammad. He was not mocked. He was respected all over the world. Farrakhan was mocked because he's a clown. They tried to tie it to Elijah Muhammad. No, I was there. Just before Elijah Muhammad departed, the governor of Illinois put in the, I think it was the Sun-Times newspaper, that Elijah Muhammad was an economic god. This was the governor of New York. I mean, the governor of Illinois. Time magazine says the Nation of Islam schools was the best in this nation. Elijah Muhammad was not mocked. He was respected. He was mocked because he's a clown. They know they got him. But they aborted. That was their job, to abort it. Because they couldn't let that stand. That couldn't be a symbol to the world that we were an independent nation capable of governing ourselves. Then how in America keeping us here? Why? I mean, because that would have thrown America's whole political thing into disarray. Because they're going around the world talking about you oppressing people, right? And you got civil rights and all and human rights, and they was here openly, right? Just, openly, disobeying, openly oppressing us, our civil rights and everything else. So here in America, and we're an independent nation. So why are you holding an independent nation now? You're talking about the Uyghurs in China, and you got a whole nation right here that's capable of ruling themselves. They prove it, and they don't want to be around you, and you hold them down, you're oppressing them. So that was through their whole thing in the disarray. See, it was Jimmy Carter that came along with this new program of human rights and all that kind of stuff to beat the world with. See? But before they could do that, they had to take and abort the Nation of Islam. They had to abort it. They get rid of it. And that was Farrakhan's job. They're going to see Farrakhan in a minute. Well, they're going to see him in a minute. They say, oh, this is going to be his last public appearance in so-called Savior's Day. Well, they tell you he's dead. But he's telling you he's got one more thing. What's this one more thing? It's Farrakhan. What's this one more thing that you're supposed to have, that you're supposed to do? You're supposed to get everybody across the river. What happened to that? He's full of shit. But they had to abort it. But understand the process. So you be in the womb, you got to focus. And that's why I want you to understand. That's the purpose of being in the womb, so you can focus 100%. Right? On your self-creation. Otherwise, you're going to be deformed. Because your energy is going to be diverted to something else. Right? Instead of your reproduction, your recreation. So therefore, you're going to be aborted. Not aborted, but you're going to be deformed in some way. See, the Nation of Islam was not deformed. It was aborted. I aborted it. So how do we understand that process? See, in life, you are constantly transforming energy from one form to another. And so where you are in life right now is because that's the energy that you transform. That's the form that you gave energy to. Because during your life, and you made this decision, you made that decision, you was constantly transforming energy into one form to another. So now you are the form that you've been working on all your life. You the form that you've been taking your energy and transforming into. You the result of it. Because you've been giving form to energy. And now you the form that you gave to the energy you've been transforming all your life. You need to understand there's no mystery God involved in that. And you can always change at any time. Once you have to throw knowledge yourself, you say, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. It's like going to school, right? You take and you say, I'm going to take energy, I'm going to transform it to be an engineer. You don't just sit there and say, I'm going to be an engineer. You got to transform energy into, right, You got to go and study and everything. That means you transform energy into learning how to be an engineer. You understand? It's a very simple process. So since everybody has the same amount of energy, then it's really a competition, isn't it? And it really comes down to having thorough knowledge of self. It's how are you transform your energy? Are you doing it wisely? Are you doing it foolishly? That gets back to what I've been saying to you is that we in a state of a self-imposed energy deprivation because now our energy, we're taking the energy we have and we're not using it wisely. Masters having us using it very ignorantly, stupidly, see? Using it for his benefit, wasting it here, wasting it there. Because this is a time, this is the time of building a nation. We're in the womb right now. We're in the womb right now. What womb is that? See, Elijah Muhammad had the womb, that was for the Levites, but we're in the womb right now of Lazarus. That nation is about to be born. But we need to look at this very carefully because all of us in this womb. So you might look at like some animals might have babies in the womb. You might look at like we have 17 million in the womb. 17 million in the womb. How are you focusing your energy? Are you focusing energy on building a nation? Is that how you focus your energy? 100%? But if you don't, you're going to be deformed. You understand, brother, sister? You're going to be deformed. You won't make it. Those that do, those are the ones that will come forth. They won't be deformed. They'll be part of the nation. But the devils are trying to make all of you be deformed. He's trying to get all of you to be distracted. Right now, you're just like Elijah. Suleiman's trying to get you to focus all your energy on building a nation. That's what all your energy should be, because that's the way Dr. Barr set it up. To get across the final finish line, we had to go to that room. It says, we would try in the furnace of affliction. The last stage, the womb before we go into the hereafter. And we're in that room now. It says only 144,000 is going to be totally focused and they will come forth perfect. All their limbs, everything perfect. It says most everyone else will come forth deformed. Because ask yourself, you can ask yourself, if you truthful to yourself, are you applying your energy to build a nation? Or are you applying it for this or that or whatever? Because that means you're not applying it right for the purpose that should be for building a nation. Elijah Muhammad set the example. You should be, and they have you doing everything they can. Think about it. They're doing everything they can to get you not to think nation. God's doing the same thing. Why? If you understand your enemies, I've explained to you who your enemies are, so you can just, by deduction, you can say, hey, that must be the thing because they're doing everything. What are they doing? They're doing everything they can to stop me from thinking nation. And they can, but stop us from thinking nation. Oh, the politics. Oh, we're going to stay here. None of them are talking about Abrahamic covenant, about the birth of a nation. But that's the process we're in right now, the birth of a nation. Now, you're going to be deformed? Because many of you are deformed already. And you don't know it. And when you come forth deformed, once the birth takes place, you come off deformed, it's too late. There's no going back in the womb and straightening you out. There's no going back in the womb and straightening you out. I've had people with me coming and going over the years. They're deformed. because they couldn't think nation up to a point. But when it comes down to the point of 100%, they couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. See? When they see the end result, they're not going to be happy. It's like you in the womb. If you're not focused 100% on your self creation, then you come forth and you are deformed now. You have extra limb or missing limbs. You're not gonna be happy with that. But you got that's your lifelong condition. I'm not just talking. Yes, here, bro, says I'm trying to explain to you how things work. They're trying to stop the birth of this nation, and they're doing a pretty good job at it. But it says 144,000 will remain true, and they will come forth perfect. They will not be corrupted. Like I said, they will not corrupt with women. They will not be corrupted. But the rest of you, most of you are going to be corrupted because you don't get it. You don't understand. If you're not applying all your energy towards the birth of a nation, then what you're not, then you're not going to be perfect. See? The more you apply, the less you apply to build a nation, the more deformed you're going to be. The less you apply to the birth of a nation, the more deformed you're going to be. Period. People are not thinking nation. So how are they applying their energy? How do you think Elijah Muhammad could have built a nation based on how the people think now? All they want to do is party and dance and social media and hang out and drugs. So you think he could build a nation off of that? You understand the process, but the people, your enemies understand the process, and they're trying to make you come forth the form that the nation birthed it all. First, they want to debort you altogether, but the nation is going to be brought forth. They want to brought forth deformed, handicapped, and most of our people are going to be deformed. You see it right now. I mean, how many ways can I explain it? Are you applying your energy to the birth of a nation? Because it tells you, the scriptures tell you, we're in the process of birth of a nation. The nation is about to be born. The nation is about to be born. So that means that the nation was about to be born. It means you had to go to the womb. That means you should have been working on that birthing process, working on that reproduction process, that self-creation process. Be part of that healthy birth. So you're in the womb and you're playing games. So therefore, you're not going to come forth healthy. You're going to come forth deformed. You said in many ways. Look at the situation. It's just a basic situation where the sperm meets the egg. You have billions. It depends on the situation. You have millions to billions of sperm after one egg. And many get distracted. But once they focus enough to get it, and once it gets to the egg, the door is shut. The rest of them, they flush down the toilet. They never see it moves into the next creation, but the rest of them, they never see the next creation. And for them, that was their whole lifespan. Because on that level, right, they might live 2 or 3 days, but on that level, that might be a long time for them, just like a fly. Fly lives what, about 3 or 4 days, but to them, that's almost like living 70 years. So for that sperm, that was a lifetime for them. And they never saw the next level. They never saw a new creation to move out. It's a new creation, but that one sperm, it was fertilized the egg and it moved into the next creation, the new creation. While millions were just lost. That's another way of looking at it. Because it says like 144,000 eggs that's going to be fertilized, and the rest going to be flushed down the toilet. You're not going to move to new. What's the new creation? The promised land. It's a new creation. It's not an extension of this. It's like moving to a new creation. It's like the egg fertilizing, the sperm fertilizing egg, and then it moves into a new creation. So that you a new creation, you beyond the sperm, because all those sperm, that was an old creation. They all flushed down the toilet. That was an old creation. They never went any further than being sperm. See? But you went to the next level, next creation, like the cross says, creation after creation after creation. So now we're here in this creation, right? And it says 8 billion is going to be flushed down the toilet. Only 144,000 is going to move into the next creation. Because the Quran, the Bible tells you it's going to be nothing like this. It's a new creation. The promised land is a new creation. To make all things new. It's be nothing like this. It's just like when you fertilize an egg again. You a new creation. You ain't nothing like that sperm. That was a whole different creation. It was alive. The sperm was alive. But that was it. It's gone. It's flushed down the toilet. And you got 8 billion is about to be flushed down the toilet because they're not going to make it to a new creation. The promised land is a new creation. It's going to be nothing like the Bible tells you, nothing like this. It's a new creation. It says no heart or no mind ever can even conceive what it's going to be like, because it's a new creation. The sperm could not conceive of this creation here, because the sperm that died was flushed down the toilet. It never conceived of this creation. It was some way behind it. They didn't even know it existed, because it never got to the egg. It never even know it existed. I'm telling you, it exists. That's what the promised land is. It's a new creation. You can't go there like this. You won't go there like this. It's a new creation. And if you're not totally focused like that sperm was, then you're not going to make it. Because you're going to be distracted like all other sperm was. They were distracted, oh, this, whatever. And now they were flushed down the toilet. And you allow yourself to be distracted with all, that's what the devil's got you distracted with all this BS. You got all you worry about your mortgage. You worry about this, you worry about your friends, your relatives, you know, all this other stuff. All these are distractions. I try to tell you, all these things are distractions. Oh, that's my friend from when I grew up. Okay, well, then see, that's the sperm. Oh, man, I'm going to hang out with you, right? Well, you didn't make it to the egg. They're all trials for you. They're all trials for you. I can't make it clear enough. It says 144,000 gets it. You're not going to get it because most of you are on the heart zone anyway. You're just not going to get it, and most is too late anyway because you're already totally deformed. Mhm. No one was teaching you this because they didn't understand it or didn't know. Because it tells you that there's a birth of a nation. It had to be a womb process, and that means we're in the womb now because we said at abomination of desolation, that's when the birth will take place. That means you're in the womb right now. So are you focusing 100% on getting to that egg? Are you 100% on building a nation? If you're not, then you're going to come forth deformed. And when you come forth deformed, you're going to be flushed down the toilet. We don't want you. Because you can't go into the next creation. It said 144,000 were not corrupt. Hmm? You know, like you take some babies were born too early, so they didn't finish the womb process. So they put them on incubators and they try to let them develop some more. Well, that's see, I tell you these processes that if you understand the Bible and the Quran, they're mathematical books, the same process. That's what tribulation is. It's that incubation process. You have to give it a little more time to finish developing before doors closed on you. Birth of a nation, brothers and sisters. So if you're not focused 100% on birth of a nation, then you're not going to make it. You can get mad at me all you want. I don't care. I'm just telling you how the process works. It's all about mathematics. If mathematics bother you, then you've got a problem. That's why you're going to get from me is mathematics. I'm turning mathematics up, and the wise are going to take advantage of that. For some of you, it's not too late. The nerd brain needs about, but you can take and focus all your energy and save yourself. Because some of you are just too late. You're already deformed. You cannot be fixed. Hope you understand, brother and sister, the birth of a nation. And you think it's just talk because you don't understand mathematics of anything. But you go to the preacher, he just talk. And he'll talk about make sense about anything. But yeah, you got your clap and everything because you on the hot zone. That's going to keep you there. Keep you just distracted. Like that sperm, keep distracted. See, because the one that's focused, hey, he must keep all the other ones distracted. Yeah, hey man, yeah, it's a good idea. We'll hang out. See, because he knows he makes it the egg, he's gonna move to the next creation. And that's what the Bible's telling you, the Quran's telling you, right? The promised land is the next creation. We're moving to a new creation. That's why I tell you, that's what the gods come. Every time a God comes, it moves us to a new creation. That's what the master problem is doing, is moving us into a new creation. They say we don't know what we'll be like him. And we know we're not like him right now. He's going to move us into a new creation. Because we constantly move into great, we constantly recreating ourselves. That's what I told you. As we move into the hereafter, right? We keep getting better and better and better. We keep recreating ourselves. Those who can make it. In other words, we constantly go through that process. See? And it's like a culling again. If you can't keep up, then you lost. And we keep moving higher and higher and higher and higher, more developed, more defined, more powerful. See? And that's what's happening now. That's the time of the angel. We're in the womb. We've been in the womb for over 30 years since the breaking of the seals. Are you focused? Birth of a nation. That's Muhammad set the example. Khan is not setting that example. He's not birthing the nation. They're doing everything they can to get you not to think nation. Why? Because that means you're not going to use your energy to give the nation form. You're not getting energy to give yourself form because you're using energy for all other kind of BS distractions that don't make any sense. So therefore, you will come forth deformed. You should have been developing fingers and toes and ears and eyes, and you out there hanging out with Jay-Z and Kanye, right? And so you come forth, right, with a violin sticking out your butt or something. You see what I'm saying? That sounds kind of stupid, but I'm trying to tell you, you're not going to come forth whole because you didn't apply the energy to come forth whole. When you're in that womb, you got to apply all your energy into recreating yourself, self-creation. If you don't, you don't come forth to form. That's just the way the process works, bro. It says, I'm not making anything. Just go ask. Just look at the process of the womb. That's what it is. To make you focus all your energy on your self-creation, on building your fingers, your toes, your brain, and all those type of things. That's why you're locked in that womb and everything is locked out. So you can't focus on nothing else but building, but self-creation. And so you're in the womb now, but you have the demons in the womb, distracting you, telling you no. See? Of course, you to be deformed because the nation is about to be birthed. It says on 144,000 will be perfect because they focus 100% on building a nation, on building themselves. See? Self-creation. You're not here BS and all the stuff that they got you doing. They're trying to get you to distract you, to get you to focus your energy on things other than birth of a nation, and other things other than self, self creation. So you're neglecting yourself. That's why I say you're suffering and self-imposed energy deprivation. Because instead of using all the energy to take and develop yourself, because that's the time that we're in right now, use your energy for bullshit, partying, picnics, all kinds of stuff that you think is important. But when you come forth to form and you see yourself, then you won't think those things were important anymore, and you're going to be very unhappy with what you see. Especially when you compare yourself to 144,000, you see them and you see yourself. And then you got Elijah Muhammad to fall back on because you look back and see what he did. So you got three-way process there. You got, oh, that's what Muhammad did. I saw what he did. I saw what Suleiman's doing. I see 140. I see myself. I ain't like any of that. Because the judgment's going to take place here in America, and if you're deformed, you're not going to make it. We don't want you. You won't even get out of here. This Michael, who would he deliver? Those in the Lamb's book of life. And then he had two categories after that. One, everlasting life and shame and apartment. Those ones that go to incubator, they get a chance, a second chance, right? Like makeup. And then those just destroyed. Everlasting shame and apartment. Again, that's the same process. That's the tribulation there. First you're delivered, then those in the tribulation. But those delivered, they was totally formed. They was beautiful. They was ready for the new creation. See? So they was moving into a new creation, a creation that you can't even imagine here. That said 8 billion is going to be flushed down the toilet. This creation is the only creation they know. They think this is it. They think this is it. They'll know we're going into a new creation. They think this is it. And the Bible and the Quran tells you it is not it. It's going to be a new creation. All things will be new. It says your heart and mind can't even imagine how it's going to be. That means a new creation altogether. But are you going to be prepared for that new creation? Because you got to go through the womb. If you don't make it through the womb, then you can't make it through the new creation. That's the pathway to new creation, the womb. If you don't make it through the womb, then you can't get to the new creation. If you're deformed, that means you will come forth deformed. That means you still can't make to the new creation. And if you did make you come deformed, then we don't want you. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm not clear. I can make it. I said I'll make it clearer and clearer as we get closer and closer. Some of us, we just we're so bad off. I mean, summer's come and gone. I said, come has gone with me since in 30 years. They couldn't get it because they couldn't focus. They couldn't find that aid. And so they got flushed down the toilet. They couldn't focus on building a nation. So they deformed. They so they so locked into this world that they're going to continue doing what they're doing here, see? Because they really can't see we're into a new creation. They can't imagine it. They're not about birth and nation. Some of them, oh yeah, well, I'm about, they pretend, but they're not because you see what they're doing. They're not. How you about birth of a nation when you're not focusing on birth of a nation? You're in the womb, but you're not focused on self creation, self improvement, self development. You're out there all doing all the kind of things, wasting your energy because that's what you're doing. If you take your energy and use it for anything else, that means you're going to be deformed. That's why you're in the womb, locked away, so you can't focus your energy on anything else. But you got the demons there telling you, oh no, man, don't worry about that. Because they know they're not going into the next creation. They can't. They don't have the ability. But you can, and they make sure that you don't. People come and go. And I watch them come and go. And they, oh man, this is the greatest thing and all that, right? And I watch them as they becoming more deformed every day because they think that they're on the right path. And I see that they're focusing energy, and they're not focusing energy on birth of a nation. So I know they deform. They get becoming more deformed every day. So pretty soon they're gone. Before long, they're gone out the way. And once the judgment takes place, they'll be totally gone. And we're moving to the next creation. It'll be nothing like this. You won't be anything like this. Just like once you come forth from the womb, you're nothing like a sperm anymore. I mean, that's when you originated, but you're not like a sperm anymore. You're not like a sperm. You're a totally different creation. Because they call it, well, it's not evolution. That's what we try to use evolution. No. But you develop into a higher form, and you're about to develop into a higher form. That's what the promised land is all about. You will not be like this. That's why we're getting rid of 8 billion, because they're going to be totally, that's the old creation. That's why it says the God's going to make all things new. That's the old creation. We bring it to a new creation. So I make all things new. The former things will pass away and be forgotten. So if you're not focused on birth of it, it's like in the womb. If you're not focused, if you're in the womb, you are in the womb, and if you're not focused on birth of a nation and self-development, right? You focus all the energy on that, then you're gonna come forth deformed. I can't make it any clearer than that. You won't find that egg. You're the sperm. You will not find that egg. You'll be flushed out toilet like all the rest that were distracted. I don't know if I can make any clearer than that, brothers and sisters. Because this nation is about to be born. Birth of a nation. The enemy is doing everything they can. Your enemies are doing everything they can to make sure that does not happen. To make sure this nation, if it's not deformed, then they want to make it stillborn. If they can't make it stillborn, they want to abort it. They got all these plans. See? They tried to snuff me out recently. They're doing everything to prevent the birth of this nation. Master Muhammad watching over. He's the doctor. He's watching, protected. Suleiman's the one that's in the womb, right? He's like the conductor, getting you focused, keeping you, make sure you stay focused, make sure you stay focused, make sure you stay focused. Right? He said 144,000. They're listening to him, and they're focused 100%. But they follow him wherever he goes. You don't understand. They're in the background, but you don't understand any of that. 144,000 just pop up out of nowhere. Remember, when 145,000 come forth, they was ready. They had been prepared. That means they were studying right now. They were Suleiman right now. They're in the womb. They're paying attention. They focused. So you think you see everything. You see this little what you see. You see what you think you see. But you don't read the scripture. You don't understand anything. 145,000 just sort of pop up. Read it carefully. They're there now. It's just that they won't come forth until 144, the 4 winds blow, and then it's time for the water breaks. It's time for them to come forth. But that means when they come forth, they're already ready. That means they had been developing all the time. They had been developing all the time, and they were thinking birth of a nation. They were thinking nation. They were thinking self-creation. They focused all the energy on that. They was focusing all the energy on that. That's this bullshit that you focus your energy on. Because if you're not focusing energy 100%, that means you're not getting 100%. If you focus energy on birth of a nation 90%, then you're going to make 10% deformed. I mean, how clear can it be? If you only focus 90% of your energy on birth of a nation, then you'll be 10% deformed. In the womb, you got to focus all your energy on your self-creation. Otherwise, you're going to be deformed. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I don't know if I can make it clearer than that. Birth of a nation. The birth of a nation. It's about to take place. Enemies doing everything else to stop it. Like I said, if they can't bring it forth deformed, then they try to bring forth stillborn. They can't do that. They just abort it. They can't abort it. They do not want it to come forth. And they got the demons in the womb with you, working 24/7 to make sure you're deformed, that you're not focused on the nation. It's we're not to focus on the nation. We're going to make it here in America. We don't have any other choice. He's the enemy. The demons are there to make sure that the whole purpose there to see that you come forth deformed. Where God won't want you. And even if so, the whole nation come forth deformed, then how can they survive? The whole nation come forth deformed? And many of you are deformed. And many of you come forth deformed because when the water breaks and nation comes through, either you're formed or you're deformed, and many of you are going to find yourself deformed. You're going to find yourself locked out. I've been warning you. I'm telling you every kind of way. I'm trying to explain every kind of way it's possible. Every way is possible. See? They can't say I didn't tell you. And they're very effective because they got you blocked. They got you in the zone. It's blocking to get into the mental zone. So none of you receiving any of this. I don't know if I should even say this or not. But see, a lot about people, because of so-called poverty and ghetto and all this kind of stuff, because of prisons and things like that, they're being formed correctly, unintentionally. They don't know what they're doing it because they're blocked off from everything else because they don't have the resources to go out there and do all this stuff that the master's trying to get you to do. Can I put it another way? If you're too poor to go out there and those distractions, then you got to use all the energy you got to take care of your family. So you have no choice. So you are in self-development. You are in nation building, even though that's not your purpose. Your purpose is survival. But the result is you in nation building. The result is you in nation building, and the result is you in self-creation because you don't have any money, anything to distract you from just from survival. And survival will get you the same result. And so my preaching is not in vain. You understand? Because I've been telling you that most people you can't reach because they're in a heart level. So therefore, you put this information out there so it'll be available for them when the abomination of desolation comes across. And maybe we can salvage some of them. See? There may be some slight deformation, but we can salvage some of them. But these other ones, right, they are not deformed because they don't have the wherewithal to be deformed because they don't have energy, they don't have the extra energy to go out and just all the energy they have to focus on taking care of their family and everything. They have no choice. That means they're not going to be deformed. Even though, because that's unintentional. Because they don't know they're doing that. Because they don't have energy for anything else. So they can't be distracted. Because all the energy is like this, a mother trying to take care of children. She don't have any extra money going to BSing around. So she's inadvertently nation building and self creation. I never mentioned that before, so there's a lot of things I don't talk about. But those are going to make it into the hereafter. Those not part 104,000. That's just some other ones. Of course, they're going to be born healthy. When the nation's born, they're going to be born healthy and not deformed because they didn't have all distractions because they couldn't afford the distractions. That's a blessing for them. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. And you got those out there that, oh, yeah, I'm with you. But they don't want to put the energy in, then they get angry with you when you tell them, call them out. I'm just telling you the truth, brothers and sisters, because when you come forth deformed, you're going to be angry, but you're going to be angry at me because I told you. So, brothers and sisters, when you out here teaching and preaching, right, you're not just preaching to give them information about their desolation of abomination desolation, put information out there so it'll be available when that heart gets paralyzed and reach to the mind to find out what's happening. You're also giving inspiration to those people, brothers and sisters out there that don't have the energy to be distracted. See? You also give inspiration to them, give hope to them. See? I never mentioned it before because I don't want anybody messing with them. People, they look, demons, oh, well, I didn't think about them. See? They're starting to try to figure it out because what are they doing right now? They're trying to get the poor people get money and everything else. Why do they want to give them free money and all this kind of stuff? So now they have enough energy so they can use it to distract them. Because now, oh, I got extra money now. I can, because if you don't have it, you can't use it. So if you got enough just money to take care of your children, right? Okay, so you ain't out there BSing around. You focusing 100% on self-preservation, on taking care of yourself, developing yourself, right? So now they get extra free money and all this kind of stuff. Oh man, and we can go out and party and stuff. You see what I'm saying? So now they can get you in that distraction mode to go at your deformation. That's what I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now because we're so close, it really doesn't matter. But someone figured out, hey man, you still got those out there, man. So let's give them free money. Let's give them all this kind of stuff. Because before that, you can't distract them because they have nothing to be distracted with. So I can give them something so now they can be distracted. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. There's so much to talk to you about. I'm just one person. And I got to be bothered with people coming around, hey man, I'm with you, all that kind of stuff. I'm not on Facebook no more. I ain't got time for that kind of BS. I'm focusing 100% on getting our people out of here. Because the abomination of desolation is going to take place any day now. Nothing holding it up but Master Muhammad pulling the plug and says he's only holding up because he got 120,000 don't know their right hand from the left hand. So he's going to make the decision soon. He can make the decision when I'm talking to you right now. But once the decision is made, that's the ignition point of Armageddon. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. The birth of a nation. Are you going to be deformed? Are you going to make it? We're in the womb. That's where we are. See, you need to know where you are, brothers and sisters. The preachers ain't telling you where you are. God's not telling you where you are. He's not even telling you are a nation. I gave you the example. But if you are a nation, nation not be born, then you have to say, well, we must be in the womb right now. If we're in the womb, then what should we be doing if we're in the womb? If we are in the womb right now, what should we be doing? If you're in the womb, you should be focused 100% on self-development, self-creation, 100%. If you're in the womb, see, if you understood that, that's what you'll be doing. But you don't understand you're in the womb. If they don't want you to understand that, God doesn't want you to understand. We're part of America. He don't want you to understand you're in the womb because you say, if I'm in the womb, what should I be doing? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. We're going to leave it there.